What is up, neophytes? My name's Alan, aka Neocryptor, and welcome back to Conan Exiles on the Savage Wild community server. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a pretty good day. Been rather busy, rather hectic, but we're hanging in there, man. Oh man, so today we're doing something a little special with the help of my 6 friends back here. One of the mods I have on the community server, by the way, if you're not on the community server, you'd like to play on the community server, all you have to be is a channel supporter of any tier. So, you know, that little membership button down there, or, you know, the Patreon thing, whatever. And yeah, you can jump on if you can't afford. If you can't afford to support the channel financially and you've been a viewer for a while, man, I get it. I get it. You still want to play, man, just send me an email. You know, you can find that on my YouTube page or DM me in Discord. I'll get you hooked up. I know what it's like to be broke. I'm always broke. Forever broke. Anyway, so yeah, oh wait, another gratuitous thing I gotta throw in there. Might as well get all this out of the way, front load it, and all that just to so we don't have to be pestered by it later. But this server and all of my servers are hosted by G-Portal. I've been with those guys for at least 4 years now, 5 years, something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time and I love them. They are a great server host company. I've never had a single problem with my servers ever. And you know, the few times I've had to ask support a question, they've gotten back to me like lickety split even before they were like, oh, you're a content creator. So definitely check them out if you want to save like 10% off of the server host and give them a shot. There's a link down below that will save you 10%, and it will throw a few kickbacks toward my channel and let them know that I'm doing a thing here for them. Doing that thing. If you want, also you can use code Neocryptor at checkout and all that heavy stuff. Okay, I swear I'm done with the gratuitous plugs. For now. No, we're done. So yeah, today with the help of our 6 friends back here, we are going to go through the Thralls Are Alive mod, which if you've not heard of it, is like spiraled to the top of my absolute must-have favorite mods for Conan Exiles. What does it do, you might ask? Well, it adds a lot of immersion to the game for one, because Thralls are kind of boring. They just kind of stand around. They don't do much. They're just like, hey, I'm here. You can, like, of course, set them to do an emote or something like that, but this makes it a little bit more dynamic. You can have your thralls doing all kinds of things, including harvesting resources for you. You can have them training. You can have them moving stuff from point A to point B. You can set up a full logistics chain with them, and it just really makes your base and feel more immersive and alive, because these guys aren't just standing around doing nothing all day. They're actually moving around and doing stuff. It is pretty awesome. So today we're going to go over the basics of how to set up every single feature. So grab a drink, grab a snack. This is going to end up being a pretty long video, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's going to be well worth it. This mod is amazing. I highly suggest you check it out. And yeah, let's roll the intro and we're going to jump right in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get all the bits and bobs crafted that we need to get this mod set up and going. So we're going to come over here to our artisan table. Any old artisan table will do, and I have a bunch of this already set up in here. All the items that you will want and or need have this little shield symbol on them, so they're pretty easy to find, and everything is crafted in the artisan table. So one-stop shop for all your TAA or Thralls Are Alive needs. All right, so the first thing we're going to want is either an officer's desk or a general's desk. Either one will do. The only difference between them, from my understanding, is the officer's desk, there is a range for it where it will be able to interact with things. You can actually see the range. It creates this bubble when you place it down and set the range, so you have an idea of the distance. Or the officer's desk, which I believe the only range on it is render distance, spawning distance, that kind of thing. So either one of these will do. You'll need that. I'm going to grab the general's desk because honestly, I think it looks cooler. And I haven't used it at my main base. So this is a little bit experimental right now because, yeah, I haven't used it. You're going to need some thrall beds, which I thought I brought more than 3 with me. Well, you know what? We have the other 3 here. I was just going to place out to show you the different styles. So we'll use those as well. Let me just clear my bar because we're going to need some space here. Yep. And yeah, so you need the officer's desk or the general's desk and thrall beds for each of your thralls that you want to be, you know, using the Thralls Are Alive system. So that's what we need to get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to place down some beds. And they will, in the decorations table or artisan table, I always call it decoration table, so excuse me. But in the artisan table, they are labeled thrall beds, so you can't easily get them confused. So we're going to put these guys down, and then we're going to assign some thralls to them, or we're going to put our desk down. Then we're going to assign some thralls to them. Yeah, but let's go ahead and get the beds in place, and you guys can see the different styles and whatnot of beds that are available for your thralls. You know, everything from a sleeping bag all the way up to a nice plush big bed. So that's what, 4 right there? 1, 2, 3, no, 5. I can't count. But what do you expect? You know, I'm a YouTuber. Whoops, and I can't hit the right buttons either. And then we're going to place this one because there's no way it's going to fit in there. I only planned on demoing this bed. But you know what? We're just going to place it right there. Maybe some of our thralls want to sleep out under the sky in a big, super comfy, king-size bed. I mean, I'm not going to judge. So we put those down, right? Next, we're going to place down our officer's desk. I am just going to place it, or general's desk in this case. I am just going to place it down right there, like so. And next thing we need to do is we need to set up the bot. Now, mine is already set. But if you're logged into admin, which I am not, hold up, let me fix that. I knew I forgot something. Okay, so as I was saying, if we are logged into admin, we can go up to any of these beds. We can go under leadership, and then we can go to this debug menu and settings, but only works for admin. So, you know, whether if you're in single player or you're a server owner, you know how to get into admin, hopefully. Like I said, I've already got everything set up here the way I want it for the most part. But by default, all these checkboxes like these right here are all going to be unchecked. So you're at, you know, base value, fresh install. It actually doesn't do anything but add a little bit of immersion to the game, you know, making your thralls look like they're doing stuff. But you enable these systems right here, this training, enable XP and exhaustion. This enables training. What the training will do is your thralls can gain up to 10 additional points in each stat from training. They don't go up in level, so you can take a level 0 thrall with, like, say, you know, 0 strength or whatever, and put them through a boot camp, and they will come out with 10 strength at level 0, so you can just start leveling them right away, and they're already a little bit better. So pretty awesome. Logistics allows the thralls to move things around. The resource gathering obviously is resource gathering, and enable offline resources allows them to continue gathering resources while you're not on. So you'll want to check any or all of those settings depending on what you want to be able to do for your players to be able to do. Then you just hit save and you hit close, and that part is done and over with. So next we are going to assign some thralls to our bed. Let's start with the lovely accursed fighter one. Come with me, young lady. Yes, yes. Follow me. Yes, yes. Now all you gotta do is run up to a bed, go under leadership again, go to assignment, and assign the bed. Now, pro tip would be to go into the bed and name the bed after the thrall that you have placed on the bed. That way, if something, we're just going to say Acure, because why not? We're going to abbreviate. That way, if something happens to the thrall and they die, then it's easy for you to figure out which bed belonged to them, so you can reassign it and no having to wait until, you know, all the thralls are asleep and go, oh, that's the empty bed. So that is what we're going to do now. We're going to do that for each and every one of these thralls. I'm only going to do it for a couple of them, and then I'll do the rest of them in a cut, just to, you know, save you a little bit of time and yeah, tedium. But it's, like I said, it's under leadership. You go to assignment, you go to assign bed, and then you tell them to unfollow you, and Shaboopy Bob's your uncle. They are now assigned to that bed. Again, and like I said, name the bed to whatever the Thrall's name is. These guys are not named, so I'm not going to worry about it too terribly much for the purpose of this video. But naming in this mod is key, is absolutely key. You want to name things because it makes figuring things out a lot easier. So I'm going to do the rest of these guys off camera. I gotta move you because you just bugging me standing in front of that door. Go over there. I'm going to do the rest of these guys off camera, and I'll be right back, and we'll start setting up training, and I will show you how everything works. Okay, so now that all the Thralls are assigned to beds, let me explain, because I don't think I really explained why we do that. Assigning the Thrall to a bed basically registers them with the Thrall Server Live system. So if we come over to our general's desk here, or officer's desk, we click on it, we'll bring up an interface, and we can see all of our Thralls and what they're doing right here in this interface. We'll come back to this in a bit, but I just kind of wanted to touch on it real quick to tell you why we were assigning them. So any Thrall that is not assigned to a bed will not show up in the desk's interface. Man, what you doing my way, man? Come on now. Just get over there. Okay, and it's turning nighttime. So right, next we're going to work on trying to set up some training stuff. What you're going to need for training, and the reason I'm starting with training is because I figured that's probably what a lot of you are interested in, because I mean, who doesn't want better stats on their Thralls? So we're starting there. To start with the training, you are going to need some training beacons and some training equipment. So the strength training dummy, not the dance carpet, that's for something else. The strength training, where are my others? Here's the grit carpet. This trains their grit, obviously. This trains their accuracy, or it's called accuracy, but you know, it's training their agility essentially. And then there is the vitality mat. So all 4 stats right there. Now, you totally 100% could put all these stations on one training beacon. The training beacons basically designate an area that those stations will go, that the Thralls will interact to them. But I highly recommend setting up one training, one type of training station or training beacon per type of station. So you have one as strength, one as vitality, etc. It makes it a lot cleaner to look at in the interface and understand what your Thralls are training, because otherwise they will just kind of randomly train whatever they want to train, and sometimes just get really confused because they want to do strength but someone else is doing strength, and they don't want to go to the vitality map because vitality is boring. Who likes to do push-ups? So I really recommend doing that. And of course, as I said, naming is really big, so we want to come in here, we want to name the bacon. That's right, this is not a beacon anymore, it's now a bacon. But we're going to name this one STR for strength, and we're going to lay down a strength guy right here. Now we want to set the size of this. I believe by default they are already at their smallest size, but I'm going to set it at its smallest size just to make sure. And you can see this is the area of where you can put the training into. So we're going to want to come over a little ways and put down another one, and we're going to try our best not to overlap them. It shouldn't be a big deal if they overlap a little bit, long as you don't have 2 training objects occupying the same space. But still, you probably want to try and spread them out as best as you can, which can be a pain depending on your base size. Anyway, so we're going to name this one Vitality, because we're going to put down our Vitality mat right here. And then again, we're just going to make sure it is set to the smallest possible bubble size, like so. Yeah, I think that should be good. Then we're going to come over here, we're going to lay down one, or say grit. Why not? We'll do this one as grit. We're going to go ahead and initialize it, and then we'll rename it. I'm doing things a little bit different, gotta spice it up a little bit, gotta spice up that content. So yeah, grit, and we'll lay down our grit mat. The arrows point the direction that the Thrall will interact with it, basically, if that wasn't kind of obvious. And then we'll do one more. Man, it is dark over here. Let's try and go back this direction a little bit. And we will set this guy up right here. Why not? That sounds good. And we will do this one as accuracy. We're going to do the same thing, make sure it's on the proper size that we want. And then we are going to do that. We're going to plop this down. Now, I think it should, I don't really think it matters the order you do this, but when you initialize it, if you saw that pop up in the corner, they all said, you know, there was like 0 training objects. If you want to be sure to then make sure that it registers the training object, just reinitialize that size again, and it'll pop up and say, boom, suitable places 1. You can, I have done it any which way, and it's like over time it figures it out anyway. I haven't had any problems with that whatsoever. But if you want to be safe about it, definitely place this down, then set the size so it initializes. Okay. So that is all of our training stations set up. Now let's go ahead and take a quick peek at our interface over here and tell the sleeping beauties here that they should maybe go do some exercise because they're sleeping too much. So let's look at the legend here real quick. The bar here indicates the time of day. Right now is nighttime. Night is blue, day is yellow, evening is red. So you can set their activities depending on what time of day it is. So at nighttime is fine, they can be sleeping, but as soon as Defari Fighter 2 wakes up, I want him to start working. No, actually, I want him to start training. We'll get to working later. And then what I want to do is I want to click on this hourglass or spyglass here, and it will bring up an interface where we set their, you know, what beacons they're going to use. We're going to have this guy work on his vitality, like so. We're going to hit apply. Right now, we don't have any of these other beacons, so we're not going to worry about those. We'll come back to it as we set them up, and so forth and so on. So our next Defari, we want them training as well. And we're going to click over here and we are going to stick them on strength training, like so, and so forth and so on. Our curse fighter, we're going to put her on grit training. And then I believe that only leaves accuracy, which will, you know what, we're coming down to this archer because it makes more sense for the archer, right? So we're going to put her on or him or her, I don't know, on accuracy. And we're going to make sure that these guys are set to training as well. And I hear footsteps behind me, which means some of these guys should be walking out, getting ready to go to work. How rude. I saw that, man. They just walked all over your bed. I mean, do you want to file a grievance? No? Okay, as long as you're cool with it. And there we go. As you can see, they are doing their thing. Defari Fighter 1 is sitting here whacking away at the training dummy. Everybody is slowly heading over to their stations to work. And now as time goes by, those stats will increase up to level 10. As we can see, our Defari Fighter 2, who is doing vitality train, you can see the vitality slowly going up. Every time they reach a level, that goes up by 1 and gives them 1 point in that attribute to their base. As well, though, they are also burning through some energy and getting tired. If they run out of energy, they don't really gain anything from training. So you want to make sure that they have some downtime and they're able to relax in between training sessions. So, you know, they can actually get the most XP that they can for the stat that they are training. Okay, and that's pretty much it for setting up our training areas. Okay, so next we are going to set up a patrol, because that is something else you can do. You can have your Thralls patrol an area for you, walk around, and they will, you know, totally attack any enemies that come by, which is also pretty awesome. So let's jump in and talk about how to set up a patrol. And by the way, if I'm going really fast and you need to replay a segment, there are chapter markers down below. I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, which I apologize, but there will be chapter markers on the YouTube playhead and in the description below for you to go back and rewatch a section. Okay, so to set up a patrol, we're just going to need a couple of things. We're going to need some sticky notes, and then we're going to need some patrol orders, like so. So the sticky note is basically a holder object. It will hold the orders after we have set the route for them. And you can place the sticky note pretty much anywhere you want. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to go ahead and name it, you know, just main patrol. Why not? main, when I can learn to type, and we'll call it main path because, you know, shortcuts and all that. Now, for them to patrol, let's first get that off of our bar. All you need to do is put a patrol order into your bar. You know, find a point where you want them to start patrolling, and then hit the button, and it'll say it recorded the, you know, waypoint and how many points are currently in. And you do that all the way through. And if you want to stop and have them face a certain direction, you can do that by looking the direction and then hitting the button. It records the rotation as well, even though it doesn't particularly, you know, say that. So we're going to just kind of zigzag them up around here a little bit. Oh, hi there. How you doing? How you doing? And then we're just going to bring them, you know, over here. They're kind of just checking on the training, seeing how the training is going for everybody. And yeah, that's going to be their patrol route. And now we don't have to close the loop. We don't have to come all the way back down here and, you know, hit another waypoint. It will go to the next available waypoint. And if they get like pushed off route, like, you know, say there is some hyenas over here and they go running off to chase them and track them down and bippity bap boop them, they will go back to the last waypoint they were at when they encountered that enemy, and then continue their patrol from there. So it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead. Now all we need to do is place this inside of our sticky note that we have on the wall. And then we go back to the table here, and we'll choose someone who's not training. You're not training. You're supposed to be patrolling. So you know what? That's fine. Let's go ahead and tell you to patrol the main patrol and hit apply. Bob's your uncle. Go ahead and hit update for good measure. And look, she's off. She's going to walk her patrol route. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Nothing too complex. And that is, you can have multiple patrols set up with multiple thralls going around them. You just need to, again, name things properly. So, and that's just so it'll, you know, because the name of the object is what the name in the interface in the table is going to be. So it makes it a lot easier if you name things as you go to figure out what route is what or what station is what. So yeah, can you tell I'm kind of drumming this name thing home? But as you can see, she's going, she's stopping, she's doing her thing. Although she didn't face the direction I told her to. At least wait, or did I say on that one? Actually, I don't remember. I know up there, I think we stopped and faced her. I know for a fact we stopped and faced some of these guys. So let's see what she does. Oh, nope. Okay. I was pretty sure. Oh, wait, she turned. Okay. So that's kind of working. But at my main base, I know for a fact that they will stop and face the direction I was looking when I recorded the patrol. But yeah, so that's patrols in a nutshell. Okay, so the next few things that we're going to talk about, and believe it or not, we're halfway done, but the next few things that we're going to talk about setting up can be a little bit complex, so they might take a little bit longer than these first couple sections we went over. Next, we are going to set up a social beacon for them to socialize at. And yeah, so stay tuned. Okay, so for a social beacon, you have a couple of options. You have this barrel, which is, you know, a full-size barrel. And then you have this tiny little war horn thing, which is great if you want to set up like a little scene inside of a bar or a building or tavern, what have you. It makes, you know, it makes setting up a very small area very nice. For this purpose, we're going to use the barrel, though. And then we're going to need some idle orders, which I should have, yeah, some in here. So we're going to set up this barrel right over here behind this ottoman. Okay. Like so. Next, we are going to place our, and this has a, as you can see, it has a area as well that we can set up, so we can initialize it and we can go, we want it to be large. So now we have a huge area that they can socialize in, or small, or whatever you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to take these idle orders and we're going to stick them in the barrel, and we get social beacons now linked to these idle words are hard. Okay, idle orders. And yeah, so it works kind of like the other. I recommend doing this from first person. You'll see why. So when you click the button, you want to be looking at something that is interactable that you can interact with. So like, you know, this harp, which we can play, or the, you know, ottoman, which we can set on. Either one of those would be a valid target. It has to be interactable for the orders to work, but you just look at whatever, and then you, whoops, you don't sit down like me because, you know, I hit the wrong button. But you look at whatever, and then you hit the button of the order, and it says UI will open 3, 2, 1. Boom, we have a UI open. You see this arrow over here. This is your thrall. The arrow points the direction your thrall will be looking. Up here on the top of the interface, we have some settings for distance. We have some positions, etc. The rotation, like so we can say, you know, you're gonna stand like right there looking at the harp, because why not? That seems like something that would be pleasant to do, right? And then we can set a chain of emotes for them to do. So we can have them cross their arms, we can have them, you know, do a big clap because maybe they're envisioning a ghost playing the harp. I don't know, I don't judge. And then we can say dance, why not? And now we can either save this as a unique, so only one thrall will do this at a time, or save for all, so there could be multiple thralls that come over here and do this exact same thing at the exact same time. So in this case, we are going to save unique, and there we go. We have current unique emotes set as 1. We are going to then close that interface. We're going to look at something again. I'm just going to say the harp this time. We're going to hit 3, and then we're going to add another actor over here. This will be another unique one. We want to bring our arrow to where it doesn't vanish. We'll just say right there, you know, that works for me, and we'll spin it the right direction. We're going to maybe adjust the position and distance back a little bit so they're not actually stuck in the harp, because man, that would suck being stuck in our harp. At least I think it would. So something like that maybe. And you know, we're gonna try and remember where our other guy is standing, because we're gonna have these guys look at him and be like, what you doing? What are you crazy? So we'll have them say give orders. We will have them laugh big, and then ponder. So that sounds like a thing. We're gonna save that one for all. So there we go. And that's all we're going to do here, but you get the idea. You can rinse repeat, you can save unique ones for individual thralls, or save for save them so any thralls can come up. And then we can just come up here and dump our idle orders in here like so. You don't really need to do that, but I like to keep the idle orders in here just so if I want to change something, I can easily do it without having to find new orders and relink them and stuff. Because once it's linked, you know, when you're setting it up, you link it to the object, and then after that, you don't really need the idle orders anymore. But I like to keep them around just in case, so I stick them in the social beacon where I use them, which ends up me having a few of them, but you know, it's not a big deal. So let's go ahead. Who do we have left that's not doing anything right now? I think everybody. Oh no, you're not doing anything. So Defari Archer 1, of course, you're not doing a darn thing except sitting on your bed. So we're going to come up here. We're going to find him, find the one that is this guy. We're going to have him idling, and that will be, we're going to change a Curse Fighter 1 to idling as well. We're going to hit update just so we can see them do the interactions. Oh wait, I forgot to set the beacon. For shame, Neo, you know better. Come in here, click on the widget, find the beacon. I didn't rename the beacon another, for shame on me, but you guys get the idea. Rename your beacons, don't be Neo. And then we need to do the same thing over here for this one, Shaboopy, and update. And we should be good. They should start doing their thing. Here comes a Cursed Fighter. Our Defari friend, I think, is stuck on his bed. He doesn't know what to do. So we're going to help him out just a little bit. Pull him down. Did I set him wrong. Let's just double check your training. Accursed fighter and Tefari fighter 1 idling. I did set the social beacon, right? No, I didn't, because I'm a dork. I must have forgot to hit apply. There we go. Oh, is she going to be... wait, where are you guys going? You know, I must have picked the wrong Tefari fighter. Now they're kind of trying to navigate and figure out what they're doing. Anyway, so yeah, they can also decide to do their own thing. Like, they will go talk to like other crafting stations. Like, they'll wander around my base and stop at any crafting station that has a thrall and, you know, basically chit chat. So that's a thing too. I don't think they like the waypoint idle waypoints that I set up here. So they're just kind of doing their own thing at the moment, but that is the gist on how you set it up. I mean, if we wanted to fix this, we could easily fix that by coming in here, grabbing out the idle orders again, right? And then we could say point at the couch, and we could remove idle. Oh, it said remove failed. Oh man, that's no bueno. Let's just say save unique, remove unique. How about remove unique? Remove successful. Okay, so that one has been removed. So now we could say set it up again. We could put it right here, set the rotation again, and go through. And yeah, we're just gonna save it as unique again, and that should be good. Or they're still going to do their own thing. But you know what? They're socializing. That's the important part. They're having fun. They're having a good old time. Let's go ahead and just try this one quick more time. Oh, you know what? I think the social beacon at my main base is named social beacon. So let's rename this one. That might be confusing the system. So currently track place count 1. Social beacon. Let's just call it 3. I don't think I have a second one in my base, but I'd rather make sure. So now if we come in here, we should be able to set that properly. Idling, social beacon 3. Again, naming is super importante. And let's see what happens. Update. One of you guys do a thing that I told you to do, please. I don't know if they're being stubborn, but that is how it works. And most of the time it seems to work fine for me. But they should have just, one of them should have came and stood over here as we set up, and the other one should be standing like right here being a goober basically. My server might need to be restarted. I don't know. I'm going to try and troubleshoot this real quick. I'll do it off camera, and if I can figure out what's going on, I will tell you what I did in case you run into this. There we go. There we go. Now they're doing it. All I did was I redid the animations or the idle positions again, and then I set the barrel size, the social zone, to a smaller social zone. I did medium instead of large, and that seemed to fix it. So if you run into the problem where they're just kind of doing their own thing and not doing the idles that you want, try resetting it and changing the idle size, and that seemed to take care of it for me. But that is all there is to setting up the social interactions, and you can get quite creative with these. Set up whole scenes, you know, like, you know, she's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, right? So pretty interesting, definitely awesome. All right, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to set up a town center, and we are going to set up you know, prospecting and resource gathering for our thralls. This is also a little bit in depth, not as tricky as the social interaction. The social interaction can get a little bit tricky sometimes, so, but this is still a little bit more complex than setting up, say, our training stations that we did and our patrols. So stay tuned, let's jump into it. Okay, so to enable the resource gathering, we need to have a town center. The town center again is crafted at the artisan table, and it looks like this book right here. So we're going to need that. We're also going to need some resource stations, depending on how many resources you want them to gather. Again, you could do a single resource station with multiple resources around, but I think for efficiency's sake and the not confusing the poor pathfinding of the game too much, it is best to have one for each resource. And then of course you're going to need some resource nodes. So we're going to need, you know, some stone nodes. We're going to need, because I'm going to set up a trifecta here, but I'm going to show the principles on how to do it with the stone, and then I'll set up the other two, which I only have one of each from, so it's not going to work that great, but hey, you know what? It's fine. Anyway, so we want to set down our town center right here, town center. And it doesn't matter where you put this, you know, to be perfectly honest. So we put down our town center. We go up to the UI here, right? We open it. And then I believe town beacon, and we want to open the assignment UI. And right now this controls who can gather resources and who can't. So if they're out of town, then the town center can't register with them. So we want to apply whatever thralls we want to be part of the township. It's also a good idea to rename your town's center again for logistic purposes. So we're going to call this Demo Town. Demo Town, where everybody has a single to sell, like so. Boom. And now if we look under, we go back into the interface and we look under our thing, it'll say, well, it actually did not rename. So let's go ahead and fix that by pulling them out and putting them back in. Now they're all part of Demo Town. Simple as that. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do some prospecting. Prospecting is basically how your town center knows how many resources are in your local area of a single type that you can feasibly mine within a time limit. And that's how it calculates the resources that your thralls can actually gather for you. So let's bring up the prospecting interface. So town beacon, prospecting, and then here you can see everything that they are able to gather. We have stone, we have coal, we have brimstone, we have wood, we have bark, we have hide, thick hide, and we have iron. So we're going to set up stone real quick, and you'll get the idea of how this works. So with stone, we're going to click this, and it's going to say, you know, you have X amount of time to gather as much stone as you can, and it's going to spawn a little note in our inventory. And you must rush. So let's go ahead and go shabooby. Bob's your uncle. We'll get out of this UI. And then as soon as that says go, we're going to, gather like a mad fool. So we're going to just mine as much as we possibly can within the time limit. I believe it is 2 minutes. So, and it will tell you after when it's hit its halftime. And after sun, it'll say you've gathered such and such amount. So I'm just going to go through here real quick as fast as I can. By the way, you can also, if you really want to, you can use sorcery with it. The mask hull does work with it. I tested that. But honestly, since you don't get as many resources using mask hull, unless you're in a densely populated spot for it, I would highly recommend to do this the old-fashioned way. Grab the best pick or tool that you have for the resource that you're trying to gather. Put some oils on it if you have access to those, and just go to town swinging that pick everywhere you can to gather as much stone as quickly as you can. I'm running an expertise build, which is also handy for this because, you know, it doesn't slow you down when you're overweight. So you can just literally go ham. Now we should be, I think, close to the halftime, and it should pop, yep, right there. And so, you know, that means we have 1 more minute left to gather as much as we possibly can. I've already gathered 6K stone on my server rates, which I do have resources set to ×2 on the server. So your results may vary up or down depending on how many, your single player or the server you play on, what their resource limits are set to. but we should be pretty close to done here. I gotta stop running. We need to keep our stamina up, because if we're not mining, then we're missing out. Now you can prospect multiple times, and if you gather more, it will update and increase the amount of resources available for your thralls to be able to harvest as well. So it is a pretty cool system. It should be popping up saying that we're out of time here in just a moment. I'm going to try and get a couple more rocks here. Can we do it? Boom. Time's up and we mined 10,000 stone. Cool. Now all we need to do is we need to go back over here to our town center, and we can dump this note in here and it will update. So now if we go into, and it seems to do half of whatever you're able to gather. So if we go into the town beacon, we open up the town center UI info. It'll say that there's currently 0 of 5,142 stone available for them to mine, or rather they have mined 0 out of the available 5,142. So simple as that. Now we want to set up a resource station, and this works like any of the other stations. So we're going to set that up, and then we're going to rename it. We're going to name it Stone, because this is what we're going to put down for them to work on. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see, we have 6 thralls, so we're going to put down a couple of these stone nodes. Again, all this is crafted in the artisan table, and you just place them down wherever you can find space, being mindful of the direction the arrow is pointing, because that is the direction the thrall will interact with it from. So we're going to do that. We're just going to put down, we'll put down, whatever, 5 of them, call that good. And then we can go in here and we can do the initialization thing, and small should be fine. There we go. And it should pop up and say found 5 places. Just as simple as that. And for each of the resources you want them to be able to gather, that's what you do. So next I am going to do one for wood. So we're going to need our axe here, and we're going to go back to our menu. We're going to prospect again, and then it's the exact same process. I'm going to chop down as many trees as I can within the time limit, come back, put the node in, set up another resource station, name it wood, and put down a wood node. Do I have a wood node? That's a good question. That is a very good question. I do. Okay, so there we go. I wanted wood and not chips for this example. We can also get those out of our bar, like so. Okay. So, and there's not much coal around here, so you know what? I'm just going to do 2 resource stations. All right, I'm going to do that off camera just to expedite the video, but it's the exact same process. So, okay, so I have set up a little wood area for them to whack away at as well. And if we take a look in here at our UI again, it will say 0 of 344,000 wood harvested. So next we need to assign some workers. So we need to come back in here to our handy dandy desk of assignment here. And we're going to set most of these guys actually to start working. We're going to let them sleep through the night because, I'm not a slave driver. That isn't the way I roll, man. So we're going to set this guy to working when he gets up, and we're going to set him to work on stone. We're going to set 2 on each. We're going to set you to work on stone as well. And then we're going to set our actually, we're going to leave her for something else. We're going to skip her. We're going to go to you. You are going to start working on the wood side of things, like so. And then you are also going to be working on the wood side of things, like so. And we're going to leave these 2 for the next section of this. But what we're going to do is we're going to let these guys do some harvesting So there's some stuff, because what will happen is at 18 o'clock, and this is settable within the settings UI, but at 18 o'clock by default, they will deposit whatever they've mined into the town center for you to collect, or for another, you know, thrall that's running logistics to collect, which brings me to our next point. That is what we're going to be covering in the next section, the logistics, and how to set up, you know, just a simple logistics chain. But now all of our peeps should be coming out and going over and start chopping wood and mining bricks as or mining stone rather, as we see fit. And you are still stuck on your bed, aren't you? You know what? Come here, man. Just get off the bed. Get off the bed. I don't know what your deal is, but yeah. And one of our people is not mining. Who is it? Who's the lollygagger? Is it you? You're ho-humming like you have nothing to do. That's Defari Fighter 2. You're working. Did I not set your beacon? Look at that. I didn't. You go do stone, man. Go do stone. And he should go find his stone node. Sometimes it's a little fiddly. There we go. We clicked update and off he goes. All right, so yeah, they're gonna sit here and they're going to chop trees and mine rocks for us for a little while, and after, you know, 18 o'clock they will deposit everything here. I think this feels like a good time to discuss some of these settings. So if we go back under leadership and under debug and open up the settings menu, get rid of this. There we go. So let's talk about prospecting factors and such of that nature. So the prospecting time, this is the amount of time it gives you to, you know, to manually mine as many of those resources as you can for it to register. Over here, this factor, this is what it will divide or multiply your results by. So, you know, it was cutting mine in half, and that's because this is set to currently half of whatever I am mined. If I want to, I could say it's times 10 whatever I mine, which would be a little bit OP, if you get my meaning. This is more set up to be kind of like a trickle income of resources to help supplement you, not completely replace you going out and harvesting things. At least the way I have set up. You of course can set it up however you want, and of course down here we can set the resource tick, how you know, how many items it gathers. This is actually, I have it set to 10. It's actually usually set lower than that. I don't remember what the default is, but each tick they're gathering 10, so it makes them gather a little bit, you know, a little bit more in that time period. And if you have fewer thralls working on a station and you still want to get good results, you might want to play with this number a little bit. So yeah, that's the settings dealing with resource gathering in a nutshell. Of course, the XP settings for the training, that's self-explanatory. This is how much XP they gain while they're, for that stat while they're working there. So you can set this lower or higher, you know, depending on your needs. So, all right, I'm gonna sit back, relax, have a mochaccino, and let these guys get some stuff together to drop into our chest. But if we look actually real quick, you can actually see the numbers going up. So, you know, 570 of 3,000, 444, etc. So you can actually check on it to see how they're doing with their mining, you know, while they're doing it. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. We'll come back when there's some stuff in here, and then we'll talk about logistics, and that'll be the end of this video. All right, so I've let some time pass, and they have deposited their hard work into here. We got 3,440 wood, and you know, a few thousand stone. Awesome. Well, now why don't we have them load the wood and the stone into that furnace for us, and then when we start cranking out bricks, have them take the bricks over to this crate over here that I would name, you know, crate of bricks. So to do that, we are going to need the logistics station right here, and we're going to need a logistics order, and then we're also going to need one of every item that we want them to be able to move. We don't need 500 stone. We need one stone. That's all we need right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to set down this logistics station. Again, it doesn't matter too terribly much where you put it. I'm just going to put it right here. And then I am going to put our logistics order in here to link it. And while it's in there, I'm also going to put the stone, the wood, and a brick in there. And as you see, every time we put something in, it says logistics station knows how to manage. Insert item name here. Next, I am going to pull out our logistics order. And this works very much the same way as the the idle order does. So I recommend going into first person to do it. But you look at what you want them to be able to interact with. You hit 4. And we'll open a UI where you get to position them. So let's go ahead and get our arrow a little closer. Let's see if we can bring it out some. Yeah, like right there is good. Let's set the rotational value. That's a little close still. Can we bring it out a little further? Say right there. Looks pretty good. Just a hair more there. And then we hit save. Okay. And it added Demo Town into the route up here, which we will get into that more in a second. Next, we are going to go over to our furnace that we've set up over here with, nothing in it. And we're going to click on it with the, or hit the button while looking at it. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to first find the thing. Sometimes show helper near target. Sometimes it's a little tricky to find and see. Oh, like there it is. It's way over there from some reason. Let's bring it like really far over here. Let's see if we can bring the position out a little bit, bring the distance back like so, and we will call that pretty good right there. We're going to click save and edit, and then one last step, or one last step of this part I should say, is our box here. So we're going to hit the button again and set this. So first again, find the thingy. There's the thingy. Where's the thingy? There's the thingy. Let's see if we can get it. Okay. And then bring it a little over here. Change the rotational value somewhat to about there. Let's fix that distance some. Let's tweak it. It's a lot of tweaking, to be fair, to set this up right. So let's get the arrow pointed that way. Bring out the other way. There we go. And then we'll adjust the position just a hair. We'll call that good right there. And now we're done. So, well, we're done with setting up what we want them to interact with. Next, let's go over to our nice logistics station over here and open up the UI by holding E. Like so, open UI. And now this is the part that is a little bit confusing. It feels like it is backwards from the way it should be. So right now we can kind of cycle through what we want them to grab. This is Demo Town, right? So we're wanting them to grab the sticks and the stones, and I want them to grab 500 of each. So I'm going to put in 500. And you see it says in. I guarantee though, this is them taking it out. This part was written from the perspective of the thrall, not the perspective of the station. So when you say 500 in, it's put 500 in your pocket. And then when you put 500 out, it's pull 500 out of your pocket. Like so. So we're going to say, 500, and then we're going to toggle out. So yeah, it's a little weird. I talked to the mod author about it, and they said they're probably going to change that in one of the upcoming updates. And then down here we will go stone brick. Oh wait, hold up. I was skipping a step here. Let's go up here, go stone brick, and we're not gonna have many, so we're gonna do one out. Or in, rather, into pocket. And then over on the crate, we will go one out of pocket, like so. And now we'll click save. So we will manually have to start the furnace cooking, but after they get a load over there. So let's go over to our desk over here and assign our nice super rested, because I've had her doing nothing but sleeping, a cursed fighter to go over to our worker beacon, which I didn't rename. I should have renamed, but I didn't. Logistics station. And then we're going to set her to start hauling some stuff around. So we're going to set her to working. And she's going to work a lot. We're going to hit update, and away she should go. So this is the way it should work. Is she should come over here, pick up 500 of each, you know, stone and wood, take it to the furnace, drop it off. Then she'll try to grab brick from the furnace, which isn't there, but she'll still go over to the crate. And she's just going to keep making a circuit, checking for things that she needs to pick up and take around, whatever we set in the UI. So now if we follow her, she should have put the stuff in. We see her kneeling down. That's her interacting with it. And now, as you can see, we have stuff in the furnace. Now we can start it. So on her next trip, she will be able to grab a brick and take it to the box of crates. Right now, she's taking absolutely to the crate of bricks. But she's still going to try and interact with it and try to deposit stuff that she doesn't have. And now she'll just rinse and repeat until her shift is over. So it's that simple to set up. I struggled with it a lot because I am dyslexic for one. So the fact that this station is backwards from the way it should seem, because, you know, it says Demo Town. The object, you know, that the object is the reference here, not the thrall. So I was trying to do it completely backwards. So if you're trying to set this up and it's not going the way you want, try flipping these around. You can also move the things up and down in the route and delete parts of the route. You can adjust it however you want. But now she should have came over and she should have be depositing a brick. And there we go. We have our first brick, and the supply chain will just keep going. So she's just going to keep grabbing stuff, taking it over there. The furnace is going to turn, burn the fuel that she brought, which in this case is wood. And then she's going to grab bricks and take them over. We could turn up the brick count because, you know, it's going to stockpile as it is. So let's go ahead and say 100 and minus 100 and click save. That way she'll theoretically just grab whatever is available, you know, up to 100 bricks and deliver it to our crate for us. So we got 2 bricks, and yeah, it's pretty easy to set up once you wrap your head around the way this UI is set up. But guys, that is gonna be it. You have now seen all the basics of the mod and how to set up everything from running patrols, training your thralls, setting up the worker stations, the logistics, you name it. You now have the knowledge to set this up for yourself, and you can get really creative with this. There are a couple of tips though that I would like to bring up. One, thralls cannot open doors. So if there is a door here, they're just going to bump into it, you know, and not be able to walk through it. 2, some of the mod or not mod DLC door frames, they get stuck on. The median is one of them, and my main base is using a lot of median building parts, and they are continuously getting stuck. So you might have to do a little bit of trial and error with your build if you're putting stuff inside for them to go into, and it's going to be a high traffic area. So you might have to play with it a little bit to find out what works for you. I recommend maybe if you're using LBPR, using the LBPR double doors without the actual door, just the door frames, or, you know, just not having a doorway there at all and just leaving that space open or something. Yeah, other than that, if you're having problems with the with setting up the mod, definitely go over and check out the, what is it? I believe they're the Iron Light Discord. The mod author is very active over there. That's where I talk to him at, and they have a whole section dedicated to the mod and stuff there. Beyond that, feel free to ask me any questions in the comments below, and I will do my absolute best to help you as well. I do plan on setting up doing a second video over this, setting up a more advanced example step by step of a full supply chain. If you'd like to see something like that, or you have an idea for something you would like to see me try and explain to you on this mod, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this useful. If you did, you know what to do, because YouTube likes to smack you of the like buttons and all that crud. And subscribe if you're new. You know the drill. But until next time, guys, this is Neo, and I'll see you in game. Bye.